Hello, everyone. Jesse here. We're back again with another special guest. Today we have with us the three-time FLC champ, Player of the Year 22, GFC 22 champ, GGP Chicago and San Diego champ, Worlds 22 top 8, Worlds 23 top 16, the 3v3 champ 23, Season 1 and 2 playoff MVP, 5 FLC tops, 9 GGP tops. There is also some Edison wins, major wins, and numerous other tops throughout both formats involved in this. We have AJTBLS with us today. Hey Adam, how are you feeling, mate?
Great, really happy to be on the show and happy to be supporting Oz and the Australians.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to have you here, and it's same as dueling high. It's trying to get these accomplishments out in one breath. Very challenging, mate. So you're a very well accomplished player, and I'm stoked to have you on here. And I'm sure all the watchers will take a lot out of what we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into the planned show, we've had an emergency pop-up over the last couple of days, last 24 hours or so, and that is the Konami situation. What do you know about it? What are your thoughts? Just give us a bit of a rundown, man, because I'm a little bit clueless to it myself personally, so I'd love to get a bit of a take on it.
Sounds good. It was definitely a huge surprise, and it actually is very impactful to me and a lot of my friends personally, because they plan on making these changes effective for the upcoming Nationals event. Mind you, Nationals is like a huge, you get to call it Nats or whatever, for current players, but the Time Wizard was going to be huge in Indianapolis. So I already purchased my hotel accommodations. I was planning on driving in, and my good friend Sean, Mercenary, he's flying in, and we're picking him up. And that was the plan. We're just going to go play the Time Wizard like we always do and have a great time and play Edison like we know it. But on Saturday night in Eastern time zone here in North America, I'm actually out with my buddies. It's about 11 p.m. and the news broke. It was maybe 10:30 or so that they announced that they are changing effective for Nats coming up, which is in about a month, that all old events, doesn't matter, whatever you're playing, whether that's Critter format, which actually sometimes do get pods running, side events, GOAT side events, or Time Wizard Edison, they're all going to function with the current rules. Only thing different is that if you go first, you still draw 6 cards per turn. So to put this in like layman's terms here, we're talking pre-errata cards here. So give it a GOAT example here. Your Sinister Serpent is a hard once per turn. You can't pitch it in standby phase and add it back. There's no priority anymore. So you summon Tribe and they use Wing Blast or they use Bottomless Trap Hole, you're not going to be able to pitch. Your Sork gets summoned, they go bottomless, Sork's gone. There's no effect. They're changing the whole game, and it's really terrible overall. There are some minor pros to it in certain situations. I think maybe the priority aspect is something that in Edison format that it could be revisited, but that's about it. They're changing the game as we know it.
I wonder why they're doing it. It seems like a crazy thing to do, right? So I understand, from the outside looking in, it's, Konami, they're probably making decisions based off money. And I guess if there's a much larger modern player pool, will this lead to, changing the rules to, I guess, what they're used to? Is that going to lead to more sales of older cards? Is that the reason behind it? Like, why do you think they made the decision overall?
It's going to come down to money, like you said. I think that they probably had some smart people, and maybe not, Yu-Gi-Oh smart people. We're talking business smart people looking at it as a decision here. We have thousands of people playing current at events. The Time Wizard sells out, but it's only 300 people. I wonder if, we change the rules and we remove that barrier to entry of different rules and whatnot, that maybe people will play those. That's probably what they looked at. And they also just did a huge reprinting of these popular Edison cards, and everybody was really happy about it. GOAT even got some cards in there as well. So the player base was actually quite happy with Konami overall. Mind you, they're still upset, obviously, about the terrible prizing and whatnot. But overall, Konami was in a decent, spot in terms of player outlook. Now they just threw that down the toilet, but I think it was just a money decision, Jesse.
Yeah, it makes sense. And it's like, it's definitely chucks a spanner in the work based off what I know about it, because those things, they literally will change the game. Like, bottomless, which is still a good card, for example. Like, you were just using the example of bottomless. That's it's still a good card in goats, but that almost seems like it just, is that going to become a 3 of in main decks now? I don't know. It just changes the whole game. Those mechanics seems like a really funny decision to make. Anyway, that's
Horrible. I mean, and I also feel bad for those reasoning players. Think about DMOC. Like, now it's just unplayable. You don't get to add a spell right away. You got to do it in the end phase, no?
damn. Oh yeah, because they're doing all the errated versions. That's going to be very interesting. Oh my god. I mean, personally won't be mad if Reasoning Gate gets hit pretty hard, but but no, it seems like a crazy thing to happen. And from what I have seen as well, for the watchers watching this, you most likely come here from the Discords, and maybe even found us on YouTube here. Goat format, Discord, I believe War League and all those things are remaining untouched, and we'll be staying with the standard Goat rules. But it does seem like a big hit to the in real life guys who are going to the Nats and things like that. So I guess if you want to be speaking up to Konami, I think I saw an email address get dropped in the Discord somewhere. They've got, their customer support and things. Go give your opinion to them, and hopefully you can stop the change.
Yeah, if they could listen to the player base on this one, I think they'd be doing themselves a good service. I don't know if they announced that they're going to be doing this in EU or not. I think it might just be NA events. I don't know if EU is going to be making a separate post about it, but it's just crazy. And another talking point is if they do decide to stick to their guns and whatnot, I don't want to say side event, because I want to say Goat format is probably the premier spot to play Goats. But places like Keegan's server or format, or Keegan's RBTs and Jazz's FL for Edison and other stuff, the online base, we could really boom from this, because it's really going to upset a lot of people. So if they don't make the change, it's really a good time if you're in a position to capitalize, those figureheads of the retro communities, Keegan, Jazz, Goat format, etc. This is the time to grow. This is kind of Konami maybe shooting himself in the foot, and could be an opportunity.
Yeah, well, very well said, and that is very true. There is definitely an opportunity in all of this for the online world, and I hope it gets fucking snatched up, because that'll be excellent. That'll be excellent. We obviously want our online communities to grow as well as the in real life as well, but online, we want these, we want these online events stacked. We want the War League stacked. We want all of basically everything with online Yu-Gi-Oh stacked, and ultimately growing, and hopefully even leading to some bigger prize pools and players being able to do really well out of the format. So awesome, man. So anyway, I was thinking now, well, let's get into the plans. Let's get into the planned episode. That was that needed to be discussed, though, because that it had popped up in the last few days. But man, so a week ago, roughly, you were at Atlanta, I believe, the GGP. I believe you top 8'd.
Yep.
Really good showing. Tell us about the trip, man. How was your travel? What was your prep? When did you play? What were your matchups on the day? Just give us a quick event rundown.
Sounds great. I went there last weekend, Saturday, flew out on the Friday with my good friend Chris McGarrett. We flew out from Detroit, stayed in Atlanta, came back on Sunday. Trip was a lot of fun. I met up with online Karim. He's the organizer for that GGP. We actually went out to watch a baseball game. It was the Boston Red Sox versus the Braves. So I got to go check out a new baseball stadium. I'm a huge baseball fan, so that was always cool. We did that on Sunday before I flew out. Actual event itself ran smooth. I played quite well, I would say, during Swiss. Had a couple really strong opponents and some weaker ones, like it is, with Grand Prix. I had a really good opponent in round 1. He actually is a YouTuber himself. His name is Calvin Yugioh. It's on YouTube, our match. It was like a POV perspective, so he set up a camera and we went to game 3, and I was fortunate to get the match there. I just played Chaos Turbo, and then I lost in the top cut to a really strong player. Welcome to see him back at GOATS. His name is Dom. He's really he's a phenom in Edison, especially IRL. Really, really strong player. He's a British guy, and he's just such a nice guy. He was playing Warriors. He just net decked Moxie's list, and he 2-0'd me in the top cut there. The Morphing Jar in game 2 did me in, and that was it.
Damn, man. And still a very good showing. I have seen that Dom name getting around the Discords now. So hopefully he, hopefully he gets into the war leagues and things like that as well. That'll be really cool to see. Tell us about your list on the day, man. You went turbo. Did you go your stock standard? Did you get to bring it? Did you go some older techs? Did you bring the ciphers out? Did you bring the wing blasts out? What were you playing?
Hey, that's a great question. You know what? Let me just pull that up in front of me. I have it saved here. But I was playing kind of my stock standard. It was I felt like it was actually kind of lazy, to be honest. I didn't really have that much time that week to test and prepare, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with something that I know is good. So I brought my stock standard, 3 dust shoots in the main. I did run torrential, 21 monsters, jar of greed, and I had Jinzo, I had Call, I had kinetic soldiers, I had gorilla, 3 solemns, 3 sakus, just the typical stuff that I like.
Beautiful. That's good. I'm pleased to hear. I love your turbo lists. That's right. I was just going to say I have for people having an in real life tournament coming up, you have taken some serious wins, online and in real life. If you could give your advice to someone who's like, okay, I've got an in real life tournament at the end of the month and I want to win it, I want to maximize my chances of winning it. What advice would you give to them? How do they go about, planning, preparation? What mindset should they be taking into it? Just what is your, recipe to success, I guess you could call it, for the online world and the real life world?
That's a great question, Jesse, and also it's actually applicable to what's going on. I have a major event on Saturday. The whole weekend actually is just GOAT jam-packed. Huge tournament on Friday for cash, and then Saturday's the Grand Prix, and then Sunday is a huge cash tournament. So I'm currently actively testing and prepping for what's going on. My tips to somebody looking to win a tournament, assuming they are already a decent player, let's say they're above average player, a key component to your preparation for a tournament needs to be research of the player pool and what decks to expect, because the tournament in Atlanta that I played in is not the same tournament that I'm going to be playing in Detroit. Each areas have different meta calls. My list in Atlanta is not going to be the same as my list this weekend in Detroit. It just can't be. I'm trying to win the event. I need to give myself different edges and different ways that I can get that edge other than, outplaying my opponent. And that would be having different tech choices, different deck choices, and making different subtle adjustments to the list and going from there.
Beautiful. And when you're talking like changes to the deck list, are you talking like, are you going like, I'm going to play a full different deck, like I'm going to switch it up and play Warriors for this tournament? Or are you looking at more like a sort of 3 to 6 card change over the 55 to adjust for, the event you're going to be at?
Let's say that, I like that you said the 3 to 6 card range. Let's bust that open just a little bit here, because I'm thinking my change for my list in Atlanta to Detroit is going to be probably between 4 to 10. Main deck inside, in the 55, main deck inside included. But no, I'm definitely going to play Chaos Turbo again. I feel like that's probably my best deck. Has the best chances of coming back from behind, which is something that happens IRL. Like, this is GOAT format, right? We're not playing chess. You want to give yourself the best chance of coming back from when they open the Trinity pieces and you don't. I find I have a lot of success with Warrior and I have experience with Warrior, but the problem with the deck is, as always, that it's kind of hard to grind back when you get pot and duoed against you or whatever. It's very hard to grind back out of those games. So definitely going to stay on Turbo, but in terms of changes, 4 to 10 cards, something like that. Yeah,
beautiful. And do you, without giving away too many of the secrets, do you make changes? Obviously, whatever you make in the main will change the side deck, or are you looking at like, I've got my stock standard 40 that performs really, really well consistently, and these side spots are going to be sort of my big hedge for the tournament?
Well, I have no problem just openly saying it, Jesse. When does this air? Because I'm going to be playing on Saturday. When was this be released?
It'll be after your tournament.
Okay, so I'll just say it. I plan on making a change to the main deck. I'm currently on the 21 monsters, 3 to Koichi build, 2 Night Assailant. with 9 traps, being the Jar of Greed torrential. I plan on cutting out. I expect Detroit to be full of turbo mirrors, and I'm hoping I can come back and say, hey, I won this tournament. It could be edited in after from your editor that he ended up winning or something. But I plan on cutting that Jar of Greed completely, and I plan on reducing, cutting the TT, cutting the Jar of Greed, and possibly reducing a Dekoichi, and maybe even a Night Assailant. I want to main 2 Solemns, and I want to main 1 or 2 Kaikus. I want to make this work, and potentially a Mind Control, so it depends on that ratio. But I want to change the main, and the side, I want to have, I want to go back to the old traditional multi-Mind Control, Kaiku, Swordsman, Call, like just aggro going second, because I don't really want to go to time with these guys in Detroit. I feel like that area has a lot of slow play. Maybe not deliberately, but I don't want to go to time and it get decided by a Mystic Walk. I really want to avoid that situation, so that's what I'm gonna do.
That sounds awesome. What do you think of Solemns in Turbo in the main deck? I'm a massive advocate for them. A lot of my lists that I've played in War League over the seasons have had the max 3. It gets a lot of shade, and Solemns in general get a lot of shade in the main deck of Turbo. I think they're good. What are your thoughts?
It's an extremely difficult card, and Jesse, you're a really good player, so you kind of understand how difficult it is to use. It's the most powerful trap card in the game. That goes without saying. I think it's undisputable. I think it's overall good, but it's very difficult to play. And you need to have. I think it's better when you have Kaikus in the main. I plan on playing Wing Blast, so having Wing Blast, Kaiku, and a Solemn to really set them back when they try to break the board, I think is going to be powerful. I'm going to try it. I don't like Solemn too much in the mirror match, specifically, when you're not having a multi-Kaiku package, but Solemn's a very powerful card against Warrior, and it's also the most powerful card against Junk, Reasoning, and those OTK type decks. It's Solemn Judgment, man. You got to use it right. I like the card.
Yeah, I think it'll go well, and like you said, it pairs very well with the Wing Blast and the Kaikus that you're going to be running. And you mentioned your Shave and the Jar of Greed too, so I guess there is that extra element of like Solemn. Obviously, the pure reason to play it isn't just to purely play around Dust Shoot, but if you're dropping jars which play around Dust Shoot, having those Solemns might actually be really, really good, because it'll allow you to set the hand more, plus set up your big Kaiku Wing Blast plays. So it sounds like an awesome choice, and I'm really I'll be watching, mate. I'll be watching to see how you perform, and hopefully you take out the dub. I reckon you'll do well.
Appreciate it. I hope so too. A lot of money on the line.
Ooh, what's surprising for this?
This one's I think it's okay. So it's $5,000 guaranteed over the 3 days. I think the GGP has a $3,000 prize pool. It's advertised as the biggest prize pool of all time, and also has a side high roller event where you can buy in for an extra $100, bringing your total buy-in to $150, because it's $50 to play the GGP, which I think is the maximum approved amount. Because I think GGPs have to be between $20 and $50 in North America. So they already pushed it to the maximum allowed buy-in, and then you could have a high roller on the side for whatever amount you want. So they're doing $100 straight up on the side roller, high roller. So if the main event prize pool is going to be $3,000 guaranteed, I think the side event or the high roller will have maybe 10, 15 guys. I wouldn't be surprised if this has a $4,500 prize pool, and I'd love to get my piece of it.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually really, really good, especially for a GOAT event. I think that's one thing that, like, when I look at and I'm not talking crap in any way at all, because I'm very, very thankful for War League, GOAT format, and all the staff, and they do an amazing job running it. If I was just to say one thing from the outside in looking in is, like, I think the leagues being and the format being a tiny bit more monetized, some bigger prize pools and some things like that, I do not think it would be a bad thing at all. And that sounds really, really good. And I'm glad they've got such a sizable prize for an in real life event. So that's really good to hear. And hopefully it eventually will make its way to the online world in a larger way as well.
Yes, I think that prize pools have a direct correlation on how many people play. You really want to get the top talent coming out to your event. People will fly down for a $5,000 guarantee. they're not expecting to maybe like they're going to obviously expect to win, but I mean they're not going to be upset if they don't. And trust me, increasing the buy-in by an extra $20-30 is not really going to, in my opinion at least, change the output in terms of if somebody's willing to play a tournament for $15, they're probably also willing to play it for 40. If it's a major event, like people will still play.
Absolutely, I think that's really good. And then like even like people travel for them. Like I know the GGP Atlanta, like example. I think you flew in. You said when I was speaking to Dueling High last week, he drove 6 hours. Like we've got an event in Melbourne in Australia, which is about 3 hours away, one trip for me. The prize pool is usually very small. It's literally like a winner box or something like that. And I'll make a trip in and freaking get a hotel and all of that for something as small as that. So you could imagine what people that are loving the game would do for big prizes. Like traveling would be, it would be something that they do. They'd be putting it into their schedules months in advance and making a full trip of it, and ultimately growing the card game. So yeah.
Yep, I agree with that, and I wish you the best of luck. You said it was in Melbourne, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we've got our next one at the end of the month. There's not many places in Australia that run goat things. I think there's some stuff up in Queensland, which is about 24 hours from me in the car, so I'm not going to those. But Melbourne's the next closest one, and they just have it's essentially a locals. The size is like 12 to 20 people. But it's still good fun. Get to catch up with the Oz teammates and have a good hit out, and yeah, it's usually a good time.
Nice, dude. Yeah, IRL goes is a lot of fun.
It is, and it's good being with the team and stuff. I guess this leads me to my next sort of questions, Adam. I want to talk to you a bit about deck building because you have a lot of famous deck building choices over the years. Like as far as I know from my research, you were the one who popularized 3 dust shoots in the main, ultimately changing goat format. As far as I could see back, you were, you just had some interesting builds that you were just winning things with. How'd you find those meta calls at the time, like the 3 shoots, the wing blast, the kaikus, the solemns, just the things like that? What you've done with your turbo lists, the aggro sides. From what I had seen, they hadn't been done before, and if they had, they weren't done to success like you've had with them. So how did you assess the game and make those good decisions?
I used the tools on Format Library being probably my number one place in terms of seeing historical decks, like from events. I would study. I would play a lot on the ladder, and I would just do kind of an analysis of what to expect. I think deck building is definitely one of my strengths as a player. I like to come prepared for an event, and all of that is just because I have a pretty good feel on what to expect from a tournament. I'm expecting Detroit, for example, to be tons of Chaos Turbo, and that's kind of my element. I love the mirror match, so I'm going to come prepared. I'm going to main deck the Mind Control. I'm going to main deck the Kaiku, and if I can get that game 1, good luck beating me game 3 if I'm going first. It's going to take a lot, and I'm not trying to sound cocky. It's just if I win game 1 in the mirror match, game 3, let's say you win game 2 against me, game 3 I'm going to be going first there. You're going to need me to brick, and you're going to need to hit. That's what I'm kind of going for. I want to be able to steal game 1s. That's kind of my whole idea as a player, and my whole deck building is I want to win game 1s. Mm-hmm. I want to win game 1s and what I expect it to be. And if that means I have to sacrifice my warrior matchup, so be it. There won't be that much warrior, and if I get paired versus a warrior, I always got game 2 and 3, right? Or maybe I can steal game 1 with my deck anyways. So that's how I kind of look at things. I like to hedge really one way and just gamble one way for all of my lists. They're all always hedged for one way. If I think the event will have lots of warrior, I'll gamble that way and I'll run Chaos Turbo. If I think it'll be a lot of Chaos Turbo, I'll gamble that way. So it's always hedging towards one way and then adjusting in the side.
That's really cool concept. And you're studying the data, so you're literally making the best choice on, what the probability of the opponent's playing is. So you're looking at it and going, okay, it's like a 65% turbo in real life event I'm coming to. The stats just make sense for me to heavily hedge for that. And then you're a good player, so you can just trust yourself in the other matchups to still take a game 1, but then obviously you have the side plans in place and the experience to be able to win 2 and 3 on a very high percentage as well to make up for, if you miss on that game 1 call. That's a really cool concept.
Yeah, I recommend it to people to try. and I don't want anybody messaging me after like, hey, I thought it'd be all Chaos Turbo and really it was all Warrior, and my Mind Control Dust Shoot deck got completely destroyed. It's a risk, but it's a calculated risk, and you just got to make sure you have good information.
That's cool. And like you've done it before too. Like I've seen like some of your worlds lists. Like I think the most recent worlds there was the Reapers and the Gorillas and I believe a Sakuretsu armor in the main even potentially. And then I've seen on the other end too where you've got the maxed out shoots and the Wing Blasts and the Kaikus and stuff. So you are actively, assessing the situation and making what you think is the best call. And more often than not, it seems to be hitting, man. So keep doing what you're doing. And I'm sure myself definitely, and I'm sure the watchers will, take some good points out of that approach.
Yeah, I recommend giving it a try.
Absolutely, I will be for my next tournament I play in, whenever that is. I'm going to definitely do that. Adam, so you are what I call, and I'm sure the community could agree, you are the high stakes king in terms of all the biggest money matches. You're the playoff MVP. Where the matches matter, you're winning. You've won endless tournaments. How do you approach these big matches? Like, how do you approach them? Because it's easy for nerves to get in the way, even just as general as a War League match. I can remember in my first season of War League coming into just a general War League match, and I'm literally like shaking, don't want to let my team down, all those sort of things. And you're out here with much larger stakes on the line and performing really well. What's your approach? What's your mindset that you take into these? Like, how do you do it?
It's a great question. I like to attribute some of my high stakes success coming from a poker background, like a different card game. I played poker for a long time, and I have a lot of experience in it. I was a winning player at it, but then I decided to go into engineering and other stuff. So I come from a different background in terms of Yugioh. So having that helps taking some of the nerves away from the actual like dollar amounts that you're playing. But let's even take the dollar amounts out of it. Let's even just say it's a War League match and it's a high stakes playoff match. One thing that really sat with me is when I was in high school and I was playing sports. I played American football, and we had a lot of big games, and I played on the defensive line there. And there were times where my coach would tell me, "Hey, there's no reason to be nervous. He's just as nervous to going against you all game." And that's always stuck with me in even the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is that you might be nervous, but your opponent is also nervous to play you. So let them be more nervous than you. You make the best play, and put it on them. They should be nervous to play you. You are who you are. You're Jesse. They should be scared to play Jesse S. So have that mindset. Go into it rock solid and have confidence in yourself. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But always have confidence in yourself and just believe, and you'll get it done. That's honestly how I approach these type of things.
It's very, very cool. And it lands heavily for myself, and I can see like where my game changed in terms of for the watchers. My very first War League season, I came into it with like an 80% general goat ladder win rate, thinking I was like top dog. And I came into my first season of War League and got like 2-9'd. And then, the last couple of seasons obviously changed that around to a positive win rate. And I guess one of the changes, as well as getting better technically, was just changing that mindset to you guys are stuck in the ring with me. I'm not stuck in the ring with you anymore. I've done the work. I've done the practice. I've got the wins to sort of back it up now. You're stuck in the ring with me now. And I find, even though it doesn't help with the cards you draw, for example, there are some unwinnable games, but across the board, going into it with that mentality, it just seems to give you the confidence and the calmness to, ultimately make the best decision with the cards you have at the time. So I found that really helpful, and it's really cool to hear that you found that you do the similar, especially with, you have way more experience than I do and most players, and it's really cool to hear that's the approach you take. So thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now, do you have any exciting series coming up in the future, man? Do you have any like the Nano series or anything like that planned in the near future, or are you taking a bit of a rest from some series like that?
I want to do series. I have so many good replays from just the FL ladder seasonal grind. I have a lot of really good matches on there. I've been lacking on YouTube content. I don't have anything planned in terms of a specific series, but I do have replays that I want to put up and just go over those. And I'm not opposed to another series. They generally do pretty well. In terms of my YouTube plans, I did try a vlog of some sort, and it just didn't really work out. I feel like maybe it just was not. It's just not not my forte. So I'm just gonna stick to DB replays and talking about it and doing some sort of series like that. But nothing like planned and concrete. But I want to be making content again.
Very cool. Yeah, I love your content. It was actually one of the things that got me myself personally into like more competitive goats. Started playing ladder through COVID, and then found your channel and watched the videos, and they were incredibly helpful. I still actually revisit a lot of them, so I personally would be really happy if you were uploading again. I'm sure a lot of the viewers will be as well.
I appreciate the support.
So I want to lead into something else, man. It's a bit of a topic that isn't, I guess it isn't really spoke about, and I haven't spoke about it before with the guests, and I won't be with any of the future guests coming up this topic. But what are your thoughts on, Yu-Gi-Oh and I guess the money aspect of it in terms of, you've moved cards before, obviously you've got the YouTube channel rolling along, tournament wins, money matches. Have you found Yu-Gi-Oh to be fruitful? Like, are you in a net positive? If so, what's your approach? Are you actively working at that as hard as like you are with gameplay stuff? Or is it sort of just like hobby, win a prize here or there, and it's good? I've always been interested because, I'm probably personally, by the time you add up all the either lost money matches or card purchases or traveling to events or whatever, then your prize pools or money match wins and whatnot, I'm probably like net even, if that. So it's, I was just like, I wanted to get your insight to that. How do you view, I guess goats or Yu-Gi-Oh and the financial side of it?
That's a great question. If I didn't have my high stakes money matches, even outside of like vending, because I was like buying and flipping cards at events and stuff, because I don't make any money on my videos. I definitely lose money after paying the editors and whatnot, but I just do it because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up money from the high stakes money matches. There were a lot of matches that occurred in 2021 from against people I don't really want to mention their names and stuff, but we used to play thousands a match. These are, I don't want to say the name on the podcast, but a lot of high stakes guys. These guys don't play anymore, so I won a lot in 2021, and then recently I had the Nano win. So definitely up in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh. Traveling and from actual events, prizing from GGPs, probably either because I won the Detroit Grand Prix last year, that one paid pretty well. I'm probably break even or maybe even a little bit down when you factor in how expensive it is to fly and travel to these things, even when you do win. But I just do it for the love of the game.
Yep.
I want to say overall definitely up from Yugioh, but that's kind of just because I've had those money matches and whatnot. Prizing is kind of a huge issue just in Yu-Gi-Oh in general, and I'm actually speaking outside of GOAT format here, like Edison prizing and Konami prizing when we go to events. I topped a YCS UTW, the first one I played in. I played Blackwing, and I topped the event, and it was 218 players, top 8, and I think I was second after Swiss. I lose in my top cut round. I get a mat that's worth $45, and it was like, bro, my hotel and gas expenses and whatnot. This is actually in Indianapolis last year. I must have spent at least $400 just getting there, and the whole trip, and I get $45 mat. It's horrible. So it's rough, man. If you're not winning the whole thing, if you're not doing something else with Yu-Gi-Oh, this is not a game where there's money in it currently. In my thoughts.
Interesting. And even the money match world, from what I have seen, I haven't been playing too many myself. For the viewers, I'm looking for a series. So if you're into money matches, please hit me up and let's have a bit of fun. But yeah, like there hasn't even seen too much, in the money match world, which sounds like to be the most, fruitful way to do it.
It's the most risky, but also the most fruitful. One name that comes to mind if you're looking for a customer, he's a great player. I don't really know if you'd want to play him, is probably Geist. He's always down to do it. See, that's exactly right. So even a high-stakes money match community is kind of dried up. It's like the only customers are going to be myself, Geist, and I don't know who else is even willing to take these matches anymore. So I don't know, man.
No, that's all right. That's cool. It was just it was an interesting aspect of the game which isn't really discussed anywhere. That's why I was like, I just wanted to get your insight to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Man, let's talk War League. Bomb squads this year. How did that happen? What's happening? What's happened with Safari Zone? Are you just having a rest? Yeah. How'd you end up on the bombs this year?
Great question. And, we can go into a little bit of history here. Safari in Season 2, we end up winning the whole thing. Season 3, we had Safari Red, Safari Blue. So we had so much interest, we deviated into 2 teams. Then what happened in Season... Would that be Season 2, then Season 3? Where did I go after that? I think there was one more Safari after that. I'm not 100% sure. Then a lot of the guys either decided to move to Edison, like my good friend Marcus Hayden. Shout out to you. I hope you're listening to this sometime. Really great player. I brought him into the War League community. He just decided he was done playing online goats, basically. So he went his own way. And a lot of the team just disbanded, man. Like, people went their different ways. They wanted to play with different people, and they gave it a shot. They all tried to run it back. We lost Lucas, lost some really strong players. They went to different teams, and we all went our separate ways, tried our own thing. Then last season, we had Unknown. Sean created the team, and we had a lot of our IRL friends and strong players. Just didn't work out. And now this season, Sean decided he doesn't want to be a captain anymore, neither do I. And a lot of the people we formerly played with don't want to play goats anymore. And Jay Harris, Don't Copy, a lot of those guys, friends of mine, I know them IRL, and they reached out to me. They said, "You want to come play?" I said, "Yeah, I'm only going if I can bring Sean." And they're like, "Oh, we're planning on messaging Mercenary ourselves anyways." So perfect. They took both of us, and we're on the team and off to a good start. We'll see where things go. I think our prediction is we're going to be a playoff lock, is where I think we're going to be.
Very cool. So what do you think? That was going to be my next question. Predictions. You think you're a playoff lock? Who else? Do you have any other teams that are standing out to you? Even for MVP and playoffs, what do you foresee in the upcoming season?
Dueling High is just on such a run right now. Wouldn't be surprised if he won the MVP. Just if he can continue running like he is. When you run hot, you run hot. I did it in 2022, and it's just like I felt like I couldn't miss. So if that's the run he's on, then he'll do it. So that's why I would bet to be the MVP from the beginning predictions. I think that there are some really strong teams. Your team is pretty strong. A lot of good players on there. And, obviously Alvarado's team is strong. And Bones is strong, the former champion Bones last season. We got online goats. There are so many good teams and so many good players. The game has developed so much since 2021 or like the early days of goats. It's really phenomenal, and it's really nice to see just how good everybody is. There are no free wins anymore in War League. There really is not. Everybody is decent, and anyone can beat you.
For sure. That's like looking at the teams. There is some incredible teams. There's the Bombs, there's DMG, there's the Elite Four, there's Iron Goats. There's a whole bunch of new teams with even really good players on it. Like even Steinmaxing has some really nice players on it. It's going to be a really interesting year to see how it unfolds.
It's awesome, and I think it can make for some really good content throughout the season.
Absolutely. Now, man, I wanted to touch on with you really quickly. Turbo versus Warrior Forts at the moment. So obviously Turbo's not in a bad spot. I mean, it just won an FLC. Rob Cedar, I believe his name is.
That's my IRL teammate. He lives 10 minutes from me. He's my IRL teammate. We formed a new IRL team, Team Swoop. One of my best friends, Rob Cedar. I'm so happy for him. I can't believe he actually did it. I can believe it. He did it, and he's a really strong player. So yeah, he's kind of unknown in the online world. But sorry to cut you off. I was so excited for him. We're planning on getting dinner to celebrate it.
Oh, very nice. I thought the list had a little bit of AJT to it. That's awesome. That's really cool. But yeah, they just took it just took a major, so it's not in a bad spot by any means, Turbo. But the last few months at least, maybe even year, Warrior's been coming out on top a lot. What are your thoughts on that situation? Do you see Turbo needing to do any crazy adaptation, or will variance take its place in the end?
I think that it comes in waves, and I fall victim to it too. Warriors beats me down quite often, I hate to admit. But I think Chaos Turbo is still the best deck. And Warriors, there's a huge difference between a shitty Warrior player and a good Warrior player. You know, your top of the line Warrior players, your Dueling High of the world, your LeBounties of the world, your Fancy Diesels, your STL Killas. STL just won, Grand Prix Tijuana with Warriors too. So it also just won a major.
Very true.
You know, it's that constant battle that keeps everybody in check, and it's very healthy for the game for it to rotate back and forth between those two decks, and it's even healthier when Burn wins or something else wins. So it's a necessary evil to keep the wheels of the game rotating. But overall, let's not kid ourselves here. Chaos Turbo is the best deck, and variance will sort itself out.
Yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. I've personally moved to Warrior at the moment. I'm currently inside of an Obelisk playing a Warrior deck. So I'm hoping I can take it all the way. But I do agree Turbo definitely has the edge over enough games. I do agree with that. There's just too many things. Even just like taking into account your delinquent duo proof and just some things like that Warrior really misses over enough games.
Yeah, if you're talking about specifically Warrior versus Chaos Turbo, I think in 100 matches, and assuming both players are of equal skill level, I actually do think Warriors will win more than 50 of those matches. I think it'll be 55-45 over the whole match for Warriors. That's my prediction. But the problem is when you are against a different deck. Let's say you're Warriors against Control, or your Warriors against Burn, or your Warriors against anything else except Chaos Turbo. You are in a world of hurt, and even if you're a really, really good player, I'd be shocked if you can beat Chaos Control over 65% of the time as a Warrior player. I'd be really, really shocked. Whereas, if you're against a weaker Chaos Control player and you're on Turbo, you might be able to beat them 80% of the time. Like something huge like that. Turbo is just strong against everything, except maybe Warrior. But that's what you sacrifice to be strong against everything else.
That's right. And then you still have that beautiful strong side deck you can bring out to give Warriors a hard time.
You got it.
Awesome, man. Well, we got through the business side of the podcast, man. I'm doing a little bit of a segment at the end of each episode where I do a bit of a quiz on Australia for the non-Australians. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
These will be
Excited.
True or false questions. So
Okay.
Australia has an annual cockroach racing championship in Queensland.
Cockroach. I'm gonna say false. That just seems a little too crazy.
I'll let you know how accurate you are at the end. Next, the dingo fence is longer than the Great Wall of China.
And I've never heard of a dingo fence. But if you brought it up, I'm gonna say true. Sure.
Australia has mountain lions in some regions.
False.
Kangaroos are everywhere, even in the cities. Like, you can see kangaroos basically anytime you turn your head.
Well, I know there's an actual true statement of kangaroo crossings in Australia. I know that's a thing, so I'm going to say true.
The platypus is venomous.
True.
Very nice. So you went 2 for 5 there. The cockroach racing championship was true. Dingo fence being longer than Great Wall of China, false. The mountain lion region being, you got that one right. Kangaroos everywhere was false. They're only they're around, but you won't see them in the cities and things like this. Platypus being venomous is true. And lastly, the most important pressing one. This is not a true or false. This is an opinion-based one. Who is the best Australian duelist?
Oh, there's so many to choose from. I'm so disappointed I failed that exam. I've been so much happier with a 3 out of 5, but whatever. I took it legit, no cheating.
That's right. You did well.
Yeah. So many to choose from here, and I don't want to upset anybody, but it's between you and Jace, in my opinion, for Australia here. It's between you and Jace. A lot of good players to choose from. I am going to give the edge to you. I'm going to say you're the best Australian player. It's very close, but you guys have a lot of talent out there.
Hey Jace, we're going to have to when you're listening to this, Jace, we'll have to play it out, best out of 21 or something like that.
Yeah, play it out. Play it out. Whoever wins that can have it. It's very close.
That's it. No, legend, man. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Do you have any final things to say before you do? Actually, everyone
Uh,
watching AJT YouTube channel, AJTBLS, check it out. Incredible channel, and I'm sure you will love it if you haven't seen it already, which I'm sure you have. The floor's over to you, AJT.
I just wanted to thank you for having me on, and I think you're doing a real great service to the community. Having this and replacing, I don't want to say a void in the community, but you're doing it at the right time, and we need it. We need GOAT content. It's exactly what we need, and you're a great player, and this is the exact exposure that would really help the community. So thank you for having me on, and I feel honored.
No, absolutely pleasure, man. Absolutely pleasure. We'll do it again in the future for sure. Thank you very much, AJT, and we'll see you in the next one.